Good morning. I'm Dr. Neeta Mathur, and today we will look at the biography of Robert Browning. Browning was born in the year 1812 and he died in 1889. English poet and playwright Robert Browning was a master of dramatic verse and is best known for his 12-book long form blank poem, The Ring and the Book. Who was Robert Browning? Robert Browning was a prolific Victorian era poet and playwright. He is widely recognized as a master of dramatic monologue and psychological portraiture. A monologue means when there is only one speaker and there may be one or more listeners. The others do not participate, because if they did participate, that is, if there was an exchange of views, ideas, etc., or thoughts, it would be a dialogue or a conversation. And mono means one, log means speech. So a monologue means when one person is speaking and somebody is listening. So Robert Browning, he was the one who propagated dramatic monologue the most. Browning is perhaps best known for a poem he didn't value highly, and that is The Pied Piper of Hamelin, a children's poem that is quite different from his other works. He is also known for his long form blank poem, The Ring and the Book, the story of a Roman murder trial in 12 books. Browning was married to the poet Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Browning's early life. Robert Browning was born on May 7, 1812 in Camberwell, a suburb of London. He and a younger sister, Sariana, were the children of Robert Browning and Sarah Anna Browning. She was his mother. Browning's father supported the family by working as a bank clerk, that is, after foregoing a family fortune because he opposed slavery, and assembled a large library, some 6,000 books, which formed the foundation of the younger Browning's somewhat unconventional education. Here we can understand the younger Browning as Robert Browning himself, the poet himself. Browning's family was devoted to his being a poet, supporting him financially and publishing his early works. Robert Browning's Pericles, published in 1835, received good reviews, but critics disliked Sordello, which was published in 1840, because they found its references to be obscure. Obscure means they were not very clear, not easy to understand, etc. In the 1830s, Browning tried to write plays for the theatre, but did not succeed, and so he moved on. Browning lived with his parents and his sister until 1846, when he married the poet Elizabeth Barrett, who was an admirer of his writing. Barrett's oppressive father disapproved of the marriage and disinherited her. The couple then moved to Florence, Italy. During his married years, Browning wrote very little. In 1849, the Brownings had a son, whom Browning educated. The family lived on an inheritance from Elizabeth's cousin, residing mostly in Florence. Elizabeth died in 1861 and Browning and his son returned to England. Popular recognition. Browning only began to attain popular success when he was in his 50s. In the 1860s, he published Dramatis Personae, which had both a first and second edition. In 1868-69, he published the 12-volume The Ring and the Book, which some critics believe to be his greatest work, and which earned the poet popularity for the first time. One of Browning's biggest successes was the children's poem, The Pied Piper of Hamelin, a very popular poem which I guess almost every student educated in an especially convent school must have read or heard of. Published in Dramatic Lyrics in 1842, the poem was not one that Browning deemed consequential, that is, he did not consider it very important. However, it is one of his most famous works. Browning secured his place as a prominent poet with dramatic monologue, the form he mastered and for which he became known and influential. In dramatic monologue, a character speaks to a listener. From his or her subjective point of view. In doing so, the character often reveals insights about himself or herself, often more than intended. While Robert Browning's work was disparaged by many of the early 20th century modernist poets, mid-century critics asserted the importance of his work. Later life and death. In his more advanced years, Browning became widely respected. The Victorian public appreciated the hopeful tone of his poems. In 1881, the Browning Society was founded to further study the poet's work, and in 1887, Browning received an honorary DCL, which means Doctor of Civil Law, from Balliol College at Oxford University. Browning continued publishing poetry with his final work, Azzolando, published on the day he died. This is ironical indeed. Browning died on December 12, 1889 in Venice and is buried in the Poets' Corner in Westminster Abbey. Although the early part of Robert Browning's creative life was spent in comparative obscurity, he has come to be regarded as one of the most important English poets of the Victorian period. His dramatic monologues and the psycho-historical epic The Ring and the Book, published in the year 1868-1869, which is a novel in verse, has established him as a major figure in the history of English poetry. His claim to attention as a children's writer is more modest, resting as it does almost entirely on one poem, The Pied Piper of Hamelin, included almost as an afterthought in Bells and Pomegranates No. 3, Dramatic Lyrics, published in the year 1842, and evidently never highly regarded by its creator. Nevertheless, The Pied Piper moved quickly into the canon of children's literature, where it has remained ever since, receiving the dubious honor, dubious means uncertain honor, shared by the fairy tales of Hans Christian Andersen and J.M. Barrier's Peter Pan, of appearing almost as frequently in adapted versions as in the author's original. His approach to dramatic monologue influenced countless poets for almost a century. Browning was born on May 7, 1812 in Camberwell, a middle-class suburb of London. He was the only son of Robert Browning, a clerk in the Bank of England, and a devoutly religious German-Scotch mother, Sarah Anna Windermere Browning. He had a sister, Sariana, who, like her parents, was devoted to Browning. While Mrs. Browning's piety and love of music are frequently cited as important influences on the poet's development, his father's scholarly interests and unusual educational practices may have been equally significant. Browning's father amassed a personal library of some 6,000 volumes that the poet plundered for poetic material, that he vociferously read through each one of them, including the source of the Pied Piper. His father introduced him to Alexander Pope's translation of the Iliad. It's a Greek tragedy by Homer. Much of Browning's education was conducted at home by his father, which accounts for the wide range of unusual information the mature poet brought to his work. Browning decided as a child that he wanted to be a poet. Somewhere he is very much like Milton. Milton knew at a very young age that he wanted to be a poet also. And he never, means coming back to Browning, he never seriously attempted any other profession. Both his day-to-day needs and the financial cost of publishing his early poetic efforts were willingly supplied by his parents. They took care of all his needs actually. Browning's early career has been characterized by Iron Jack as a search for an appropriate poetic form, and his first published effort, Pauline, a fragment of a confession, in the year 1833, proved in retrospect to be a false start. Browning's next poetic production, Paracelsus, in the year 1835, achieved more critical regard and began to move forward the greater objectivity of the dramatic monologue form that Browning perfected over the next several years. Browning also wrote several plays intended for the stage, along with closet dramas. Closet dramas mean a play to be read rather than acted. That is, you cannot enact them on the stage. However, he was not suited to be a playwright. The story of the Pied Piper was evidently well known in Browning's home. The primary source of the story was a 17th century collection, Nathaniel Wanley's Wonders of the Little World, which had been published in the year 1678, and this volume was one of the 6,000 that Browning in a way had inherited from his father. The Pied Piper reflects the hand of a master storyteller. The poem tells of civic venality. Venality means when somebody is open to bribery or corruption, and retribution. Retribution means punishment for what you have done. Des- desperate to rid the city of rats, that is the city of Hamelin, the corrupt and repulsively corpulent, meaning fat, mayor is the first citizen of any city or town, engages the mysterious piper. Piper is a person who plays the flute or the pipe, to charm the vermin. Vermin means rats, away. The piper plays a tune that draws the rats from their holes and leads them to the river Weser, where they drown. They all fall into the river. Only one specially hardy rat escapes death by swimming across the river to tell a cautionary tale to the other rats. The rat's story enables Browning to provide an explanation for the piper's magic, as the rat tells how the sound of the pipe evoked all kinds of wonderful treats for the rats. With the rats destroyed and their nests blocked up, the mayor and corporation of Hamelin feel secure in reneging, means in going back, in other words refusing to pay on their agreement with the piper, and refuse to pay him the 1,000 guilders he demands. Where they had offered 50 times the piper's request originally, that is, requested fee before the rats were eliminated, they now offer only 50 guilders against 1,000, thinking of all the fine wines they might purchase with the money saved. After all, the mayor claims the piper cannot restore the rats to life, so now the piper will not be able to do anything. The Pied Piper has a great deal of charm, and both its theme and its moral reflect the mainstream of Victorian thought. Browning, however, seems to have held the poem in little esteem and reportedly only included it in dramatic lyrics because of the need for additional verse to fill out the 16-page pamphlet. Indeed, this narrative poem does not seem to fit comfortably with the dramatic monologue form of the other poems in the book, which include such widely anthologized pieces as My Last Duchess and Porphyria's Lover. While the Pied Piper found its own audience, critical attention has usually focused on the other poems in the volume. The shorter dramatic monologues in which Browning finally found the form that would establish him as a major poet of his time and a significant influence on modern poetry. While the Pied Piper differs from most of Browning's adult poetry, much of its charm and delight derive from the same poetic tools that Browning deployed in his more serious work. However, techniques that are praised in the Pied Piper are frequently perceived as defects in the adult poems. This is ironical. Victorian critics disliked his predilection for outrageous and sometimes unpronounceable rhymes and the excessive use of. Elizabeth Barrett admired the book, and in her 1844 poem Lady Geraldine's Courtship, she expressed the esteem in which she held Browning by linking him to William Wordsworth and Alfred Lord Tennyson as one of the great poets of the age. She met Browning and the two poets fell deeply in love. But Elizabeth's father, Edward Moulton Barrett, would not countenance any of his children marrying and leaving the home. On September 12, 1846, they were secretly married, and 1 week later they eloped to the continent. Browning wrote relatively little during the marriage, in part because the family frequently moved, and because of Elizabeth's frail health, he was usually busy making all the arrangements for housing and transportation. The Brownings had one child, Robert Wiedemann Barrett Browning, called Pen, born in 1849. The same year Browning's mother died. Both parents doted on the boy, and Robert Browning took particular responsibility for his son's education. Yet another diversion from poetic production. In other words, he was a household man now, and he could not spare the time to do any creative work. The poet, who some years earlier had produced a major children's poem to amuse the son of a friend, made no similar creations for his own son, however, but continued to work on longer philosophical poems for an adult audience. Browning became, in his later years, that curious phenomenon, the Victorian sage, widely regarded for his knowledge and his explorations of philosophical questions of great resonance in Victorian life. He witnessed the creation by F.J. Furnivall in 1881 of the Browning Society, dedicated to the study of the poet's work and thought. That is, the society was established during Browning's own lifetime. Just before his death in 1889, Browning finally published the other poem written for young Willie Macready, and that is The Cardinal and the Dog. The interest of this 15-line poem, like The Pied Piper, lies primarily in its role as a warm-up to The Pied Piper. Willie Macready, by the way, was the son of in a way, the theatrical patron of Robert Browning. That is Mr. Macready, Willie's father. He was, in a way, the producer of the plays by Robert Browning. But since Browning did not succeed as a playwright, Mr. Macready also lost faith in him, and he no longer supported him. Anyone as widely adulated as Browning was during the later years of his life is bound to suffer a decline in critical valuation. Along with other Victorians, Browning was dismissed by influential figures among the modernists, including T.S. Eliot, although Ezra Pound paid tribute to Browning as one of his literary fathers. Following World War II, however, Browning's reputation has been salvaged by a more objective generation of critics who note his poetic failings but also trace his influence on the poetic forms and concerns of his 20th century successors. Through all the vicissitudes, meaning sudden changes in one's life, of critical reputation, however, Browning's major contribution to the canon of children's literature, that is, The Pied Piper of Hamelin, has retained its popular audience. At the time of his death in 1889, Browning was one of the most popular poets in England. That's all for today. Thank you and goodbye.